Early in 2023, Patrick and I began our preparations for the longest trip that we've ever done. It was going to be about a 6-week trip down into Florida, and the main goal of this trip was to figure out where we want to live. We actually started this process several years ago, and what you're going to see us working on in this video represents months and months of planning and research and preparation condensed into a shorter format. But first we had to make sure we had internet. It's definitely bigger than what I pictured. We were actually not sure if this was going to work at all because the East Coast does not have good connectivity. You just want to stick it on the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
We found an area with some open sky and went to go test it out for the first time. Starlink also needs power, so we ended up getting this EcoFlow power bank.
There we go.
One of the key things for us to be mobile was to have internet because I run an online business, and that's pretty essential. After a lot of research, we ended up getting the Starlink. Oh, it moved. There it goes. In order for Starlink to connect to the satellites, you have to have a pretty open sky. You have to move away from trees and obstacles. And most importantly, you have to have an open view of the north sky. That's where the satellites are located. Our first time setting it up, it took a little bit of time to calibrate. We were actually just a bit confused in the beginning. These are the instructions that you get. This is it. There's no instruction book. It's just put it out, plug it in, open the app. That's all the guidance you get. We were a little bit confused for a while. We had to like unplug it and plug it back in and then let it sit for about 15 minutes while it stabilized, but it is working.
At first it was saying couldn't, like, no power, you would have to plug it in, but it didn't indicate any. Well, we had the light on it that was actually powering it, so it was working.
But it wasn't drawing anything from
It wasn't drawing
the
any
EcoFlow.
power. Yeah.
So we were like, why isn't it drawing any power?
So I unplugged it again, plugged it into the EcoFlow first, and then into the router, and then I plugged in the satellite, I guess.
Which I feel like shouldn't really matter, but it just had to like sort itself out.
Yeah, and then the way I found out that it was taking more time and rebooting, when it first finally got power, or when it had power, then it just said it was rebooting. It didn't give you any like timer or anything like that, so I just clicked on this, and this is different now. I haven't seen this, but it was showing you, telling you to give it 15 minutes to reboot power on, so we did, and it worked.
All right, one step closer to being mobile. We'll have internet.
Good. And we tested it, just ran a YouTube video, had no problem.
So we can play a YouTube video. So the next thing is going to be to see if I can
upload.
If I can do a Zoom call. That'll be
Wow, that even went up higher than
it's even better.
It's going up. Wow, that's really high.
Yay! All right, that's a big hurdle. It's connecting. The most important thing for me was being able to do Zoom calls, and I couldn't find any other videos of people talking about this with Starlink. Connecting to audio. Ah! You're in! A terrible echo. Hello. Is there like a sleep mode you have to turn on? Stow. Success. Gosh, this is like months of planning and research that went into this. Now we just gotta get the Scamp ready to roll, and then we're good. This is the extra door lock that I'm gonna put on there. It's just like a child-proof lock with some adhesive on the back. I cleaned the two sides with alcohol, and now I'm gonna stick it on. I need 2 hands, so I'm gonna turn the camera off. Okay, so there it is. I just stuck it on. It's actually super easy, and then you just pull this little tab, it pops off, and then you can open it. So handy. We got the new chains welded on today, and these are the old chains. Let's see if I can show you. This was actually where it was attached. This skinny little rusty thing, which is why we wanted to get them taken off. The whole chains, they're not very strong. They're very rusty. I think they're the original ones. And we had actually attached new pieces. You can see that's one of the new ones we had attached. But today we took it to a welding shop and had them welded on here instead of, it used to be like on the bottom in a weird spot. Bigger chains, better connector, so it has this little pin so it could never accidentally detach. But I feel much better with these chains. It's like one of those things where you hope you never have to actually use these breakaway chains, but in the event that you did need to use them, you want them to work perfectly. So we did not want to stick with the old rusty ones. You can see there the weld that they did this morning. So that just gives us a little bit of extra peace of mind. And then the next job, Patrick is actually at the hardware store right now because our sewer hose connector popped off there, so he's getting some hardware to connect it at a different point. I didn't really like it there anyway, so we're gonna put it somewhere like on the frame. We're trying to get ready for our longest trip yet, and it is snowing, which makes it a bit unpleasant to be working outside, but got to get it done because we're leaving in a few days. And this is what the Scamp looks like right now, which I have to say is actually a vast improvement from yesterday. I spent like maybe 3 or 4 hours in here yesterday getting the bed together and starting the process of cleaning out the cabinets, repacking them, getting the food to fit. I'm still in the process of cleaning the sink. Got a new spice rack that I was installing. Just bought a bunch of new spices for that. Put the child-safe lock on the fridge so it doesn't pop open while we're traveling. And I put another safety latch on here because this cabinet down here, for whatever reason, has no latch. And because it's our lowest cabinet, this is where I put our heavier food items. Anything canned goes down there. But while you're driving, this thing pops open and you end up with cans all over the floor. So that's the task, and we're really getting down to the wire here. We're also playing around with a new configuration. You can see we have the table down. We never have the table down, but I think this is something we might do a little bit more to try to keep Redford off the bed, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. That might be a losing battle, but we're gonna give it a try. Today is a much better day for packing and getting ready. It's still cold, but it's not snowing and it's not horribly windy. So we're taking full advantage because we're definitely behind schedule right now. And we're both getting over having colds, which hasn't helped at all. But we're kind of getting down to the wire where we're leaving in a couple days and we just need to get everything situated. So I think we should be able to get a good amount done today. And kind of have our long-term travel set up ready to go. I'll show you what we're working on. So Pat's organizing the back of the Jeep where we have a lot of stuff. First aid kits, emergency bivvies, fire extinguishers, jumper cables, all that important stuff that you don't necessarily need all the time, but you want to have with you. And then we're going to try out a new travel system for Redford. I used to clip him into these attachment points at the back of the Jeep, and then one of them broke. So obviously those are not safe. And instead I found this leash that clips into the actual seat belt. So this is much better. He wears a harness when we travel anyway, so this will attach to his harness. And then I think we're going to try to put his bed in here so that he'll be able to settle a little bit more and hopefully not whine the entire time. Because if I have to listen to 14 hours of Redford whining, I don't know if it's going to go well. But we're making some progress inside the Scamp. Redford has officially approved his bed. He likes it. I'm going to finish working on some of the organization. I need to go get a couple more caddies that are going to fit inside here and actually inside the top cabinet. This is where we keep our toiletries, and then down here is more of like leveling blocks, power cords, all of that stuff that needs to be organized too. And so that's what's going on. We're trying to basically lighten our load and get rid of anything that is not absolutely necessary, because this is a long trip. We're going to be putting a lot of stress on the Jeep, and we just don't want to bring anything extra that is unnecessary. So it's like the process of just sorting things out, what has to go and what we don't need. And Redford has his own bag here. This is all the dog stuff, but helps keep it all organized. You approve? Yeah? You gotta pick your toys that are gonna go. Okay. You like your new bed spot? We put the table down, and this is where you're supposed to have like a child sleep normally. But we've got this dog. Oh, good boy. And we're thinking that if he sleeps here, we will have more room in our actual bed, because I can't tell you how many times I've woken up like squished into the corner because Red is in the middle and he's got his legs stretched out, or I have like a foot in my face. Which, you know, he doesn't normally get to sleep with us in the tiny house, so it's a treat. I think it's one of the reasons why he likes the Scamp so much. But since this is going to be such a long trip, we want to make sure that we're actually going to sleep well. Here's a blanket. Is that better? So I'm just really trying to get him used to this being his new spot. Right? You like it? Okay. I'm glad. I'm just gonna keep organizing things and getting some work done and let him chill out right there.
We have to go inside.
Red, it's getting dark. We've been working all day on organizing stuff. He's been hanging out in here. He usually hangs out in the Jeep, but now he really likes it because he has his bed and his blanket. Okay, sir, come on. Let's go inside. No, you can't. We're not ready to leave yet. I know you're ready. We still got work to do. But I will say this is the most organized we've ever been.
I think all the years are finally coming together.
We've learned. Well, we also have time.
Yeah.
We have actual like days to sort through things. We pretty much went through every cabinet and looked at everything and said, do we need this? Do we not need this? Do we need this? Do we not need this? And only brought the stuff we absolutely need.
And tiny things we didn't think of, like my parents gave us for Christmas and
oh,
stuff.
the
organizing things.
The organizing straps. Yeah, actually,
yeah.
Let me show them what we're doing. All right. So this front cabinet is always a mess. Okay. And it's still not like the picture of organization, but everything is where we need it. These are our leveling blocks. These are the little, some of them are like Velcro straps with a hook on the end. So I put our extension cord there with a hook. This is gonna hold our chocks. This is a bag of any adapters we need for black tank stuff, gloves for doing black tank stuff, and we can hang it up here. There's our dog bone adapter, surge protector, laundry bag, and we can just hang stuff up on here. So this is a vast improvement from what it was. And this is the other thing. So Pat went to, where'd you get these, Ace?
Yeah. Ace.
Yeah, and got these large Ziploc bags, essentially. Yeah, they're Ziploc bags, but they're huge. So you can put a bunch of things in there that you need to organize, like that, and then you can hang it up. We also put a bunch of them under the bed with our camping chairs and our stuff for like, for the awning, so that we never lose our awning again, like Assateague. But we're much more organized now. Before, we would just be running out of work and like, trying to scramble and get into the car and make it happen.
And we had multiple equipment together for different types of trips.
Oh, we
just
had
in one spot, so we didn't have to think about it.
We had tent camping stuff in here that we didn't need. We had backpacking stuff in here. So this is just an RV trip. That's it. Keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Sort of.
And watch, we'll get there and we'll find some like epic backpacking trail and be like, damn it. But we'll make do.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting there.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
It's another day of Scamp work. Trying to get our last minute stuff done. Hello, Redford. Still chilly out. Not as bad as it has been, but you okay? Are you cold? Oh, boo-boo. He's been taking a nap in here for like an hour. You're chilly. I didn't put your blanket on. Sorry. Here's the setup that we did for the spice rack. So I attached the spice rack to the wall with Velcro so that I want to be able to take it out because I have to clean underneath there. But then Patrick got these at the hardware store, so hopefully that bungee cord is going to hold the spices in there when we're moving, but then when I need one I can still like move it and pull them out when I'm cooking. And now I have a lot more spices for traveling, so that's great. And then what else did we do today? I feel like we did a lot of things, but the cup holder. Okay, so this had to get moved. When we took the back of the seat off, it was attached somewhere like over here. But this is just a neat thing, because if you're sitting on the bed having a cup of coffee, you got a little cup holder. That's nice. And then the big thing we worked on was the setup for the heater. So we figured out that we can also use bungee cords to just attach this to the leg of the table, and then Patrick put a hole right here so that the propane line comes out from where the old furnace used to be here. And the only thing we're not going to get done is I've wanted to put like a new cabinet door on here. We're not going to get that done right now. Future project, probably when we come home in the summer and it's nicer out. But we still have like room for this box of just random Scamp things.
If you're wondering what this is just the Gazelle.
Oh yeah, there's that's the Gazelle. Did we do anything else today?
I feel like I did more.
Yeah, that took all day. And then just like random stuff getting the tiny house ready.
Going back to the hardware store.
But yeah, back and forth. Okay, so that's it for today. So tomorrow, one more day of Scamp work. And then, I have to do a little modification on the cover to get that to fit. Because once you put the legs on the heater, the cover doesn't fit. And the cover is super important because with the catalytic heater, you have to keep this screen clean. You can't get dog hair, lint, dust will mess it up. So you have to keep it covered. And of course, the dog hair situation is going to be rough. So I'm going to have to make sure this cover fits really well. But that's really it. I mean, we're almost there.
Yeah.
We're very close.
And organized.
Super organized. All right. Thanks for coming along with us as we prepare for our longest trip ever. I hope you learned some interesting tricks and organizational techniques as we get the Scamp ready. Make sure that you are subscribed because there's going to be a lot more to come once we set out on this long journey to find South and sunshine.
Well, you worried about you and me, the injustice, the next president to be, the news and what you hear, your career. It's time for you to face those fears, and it's all fair to be aware, and I'll be there, so don't be scared. Just take a deep breath of air, and 1, 2, 3 to 10, you begin to focus again, and though time flies.